Are Russell Westbrook and James Harden concerned about the Rockets? But Russ now wants out of Houston entirely. This comes after the Rockets came up short in the playoffs and parted ways with both their head coach, Mike D'Antoni, and GM Daryl Morey. Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard is joining us now. So, Chris, I'll start with you. How will Westbrook's career play out?
Well, first I'll start here. If I was Houston, I would not automatically just bow to his demands and trade him. I would sit down with him and James Harden, my new GM, my new coach, and talk this thing out and see what they want. I also would talk about how we're going to change our style of play. Stephen Silas already talked about he wants more ball movement, more player movement, attacking and scoring before the defense gets set. He wants to play some zone defense, not just switching everything. So I would see if I could work it out with these two, Westbrook and Harden, because I don't think you're going to get a current star in his prime for Westbrook that's going to make you better or maybe even as good as you are right now. Let me make this clear. I don't think these two can win a championship together. But there is something to be said for being relevant, still being good, still being, one of the must-see teams in the NBA, and I think that's where the Rockets are. Now, barring that, say they trade him, I don't see a contender out there that's going to really want Westbrook, that's going to be able to fit him in. He's so dynamic, he's so unique that he doesn't just fit in. Everything's going to change if you bring in Russell Westbrook to any contending team. So I don't see a bad team that has young players that you think can develop into stars, a la the New Orleans Pelicans with Zion and Brandon Ingram and maybe Lonzo if they still like him. I don't see a team like that going to disrupt, Phoenix with Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. You bring in Westbrook there, now everything changes and Booker can't be himself. So I don't see a team like that doing it. I see a bad team that needs to become relevant wanting Westbrook, and that's where I think the New York Knicks are the perfect team. He's not going to lead them to a championship. At best, he'll lead them to the bottom of the playoffs in the Eastern Conference, but he makes you relevant. You might get a few games on national television. He'll get some triple-doubles. New Yorkers will be excited. And they do have cap room where, theoretically, if you have your one star in Westbrook, maybe you can coax another star, trade or something for another star to come there. But I think New York's the fit. Last thing I'll say about Westbrook, I don't think his style of play, he can't lead a team to a championship. Probably can't even be the second guy on a team to lead that wins the championship. It's just his style of play. He can't shoot well, which is a huge deficit in today's NBA. He's a poor decision maker at the end of games. Obviously, that hurts. I think his legacy is going to be the triple-doubles. He's going to be iconic. We know he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He'll be iconic because of the triple-doubles. Oscar Robertson, whenever we hear his name, we don't think of the championship he won with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, then Lou Alcindor, in Milwaukee in 1971. Even though Oscar was great in the finals in that season, we think he averaged a triple-double for a season. Wow. That's what's going to happen with Westbrook. We're going to be like, this guy back in the day averaged a triple-double for 3 straight years. Do you believe that? It's like Allen Iverson. We all accepted maybe 2/3 or 3/5 through Iverson's career. You know what? He's not going to win a championship. That style he plays, he's not going to do it, and he can't just fit in with a great team because of the way he plays. That's what Westbrook is. He's a great individual player. He's not going to lead a team to a championship.
Go ahead, Skip.
No, you can go.
No, you go ahead.
So, Chris, I agree with your first statement that the only way out for Russell Westbrook right now is to swallow all of that huge pride of his, that enormous ego of his, and just say, my only hope, my only shot is to tough it out with James in a new direction from Raphael Stone as the new GM and a new young coach, sort of a rookie head coach, and Stephen Silas, and try to make this work the way we thought it would work last year, when at times it worked pretty well. But,
Right.
Chris, as much as I enjoyed Russ triple-doubling for 3 straight years, he has revealed himself to be nothing more than a solo act, a sideshow, and the only team I could see even remotely wanting him to be a sideshow to distract its fans would be the Knicks. And you would turn on the TV to watch the Knicks, not that people are going to be going to the games anytime soon, but you would only care whether he could triple-double. Well, that's sad to me. It's like laughably all-time Knicks sad that it would come to that, to have Russell Westbrook as your sideshow gate attraction, because Russ is clearly nobody's final piece to the championship puzzle. He's a whole puzzle unto himself. Right. And the puzzle, right, it doesn't work. You can't figure it out anymore, because look at the money he's about to be owed. It's 42 this year, 44 the next year, and then he's got an option where he can choose to make 47 3 years from now.
Oh, you might would go. He picking that option up.
Come on. Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do unless you'd say, Russ, we can't give you away. We gotta figure out a buyout here, you know, and he's not going to do that. But that's the only way you could get out from under him, is if he would agree to let you buy him out and then somebody else to give him next to nothing. Right. That's the only way I see him landing anywhere that would be decent. But
what's the buyout? 80 cents on the dollar, Chris? What's the buyout?
I have no idea.
He's due $132 million.
Give that up.
It's just too much money.
Yeah.
So in the end,
and even if he gets the buyout, to Skip's point, what contender's still taking him?
Right.
Even if it's cheap, I mean, because he disrupts everything.
Yep, he does.
It'd just be an experiment.
The final point is, I want to say happy birthday to Russell Westbrook today, but he just turned 32 years of age. We know he's just hell-bent every time he plays basketball. At times, he's playing more for stats than dubs, but the point is, he's a pretty beat-up 32 years of age, and I don't know that he's going to be able to live up to making 47. That body of his is just going to give out, because he is a high-contact, high-collision kind of a player, where he's going to be diving for loose balls. How do you think he averaged 10 rebounds?
Exactly.
He's fighting for loose balls. So I don't like his future, and I'm afraid he's going to meet a kind of a sad end to his career after those 3 years that you said, Chris, made him iconic.
And he might be like Allen Iverson. Remember Allen Iverson? Because he couldn't find a, he went to the Nuggets, and then he still wanted to be the guy, even though they had Melo. He ended up going back to the Sixers. He went to Memphis, and then it was over.
No.
Chris, you said sit down. He's complaining about his role. I don't know what he was thinking when he joined James Harden. They dominate the ball more than any two players ever have in the NBA. So what did he think he was going to get? That James was just going to say, you know what, bro? Go ahead and do your thing. James averaged 36 points a game. You don't average 36 points a game by shooting 15 shots. You don't average 36 points a game by not handling the ball the lion's share of the time. So I just don't see how it's going to work. The question that I have for you guys, could he be like a Melo? Melo has accepted that I'm the third best player. I'm going to have to be the third best player on a team. Could he do that?
Okay, but he can't be a spot-up three-point shooter. He's a terrible shooter, and he's a free-throw liability.
Well, Skip, why did Daryl is reported that Daryl Morey didn't really want him because Daryl Morey wants to shoot the three, but Tillman Fertitta, excuse me, wanted him. So I mean, if Chris, you say he needs to be the third option, where?
Well, like I said, look, I just don't think, and I think we came to this conclusion with Iverson. He's a great individual player, Hall of Famer, but he's not going to win a championship. Maybe later, like when he was 37, past this contract, 36, and he's still playing in the league, if he could accept, I'll come off the bench, and those minutes when I'm with the second unit will be my minutes. And maybe I average 14, 15 points and some assists. But I don't even think you could start Russ as a role player because, as Skip said, you're going to want a guy that can shoot. And so I think Skip's right that somebody close to Russ, his advisors need to sit him down and say, look, this is the situation. if you leave Houston, you're probably going to a horrible team. And you may not make the playoffs anymore. You certainly won't contend for a championship. If you don't want that, then the best thing to do is stay here. And look, when you sit down with the Rockets, Shannon, Steven Silas also needs to say, look, James